Hey everyone, and welcome to the final installment of the Super Robot Taisen Retrospective, in which I'll be looking at one of the most obscure entries in the Nintendo DS library and the Super Robot series. But before I formally begin, I'd like to first take a moment and thank everyone who supported the channel up to this point. I am personally overwhelmed by all of your support. I'm so very grateful that you all have been enjoying my content thus far. As well, I'd like to say a special thank you to my awesome friends here on YouTube, the Cartridge Brothers, Kevin from Buried on Mars, Dean from Round 2 Gaming, and Rob the Undone Gamer. I'll provide links to all their awesome channels in the description of this video, which are all worth checking out. So thank you all so much. Now with that out of the way, let's get back on track. Super Robot Taisen OG Saga Endless Frontier is a spin-off title of the Super Robot Taisen series, and the game is a departure from the whole Super Robot series as well. This game is a classical turn-based RPG, rather than a turn-based strategy RPG like the other games of the series. This is in part due to the involvement of Monolith Soft, developers of games like the recent Project Cross Zone and Xenoblade Chronicles, co-developing the game with Band Presto. In fact, this game resembles Project Cross Zone quite a bit, but more on that later. Super Robot Taisen OG Saga Endless Frontier takes place within the Endless Frontier, a plane between connecting multiple worlds together. Here in the Frontier we have our main duo of the slick cowboy Harkin Browning and his female android companion Ashen. Initially the pair explore an abandoned ruined ship only to find a princess of the Nanbu clan, a familiar name, sleeping inside. After some witty dialogue, the two decide to escort the princess back to her world in order to claim the reward for her return home. This initial premise is fairly straightforward, but our hero's journey takes many turns, resulting in meeting a variety of different characters and ends up becoming a grand adventure across multiple worlds as well as the Endless Frontier itself. Now, as you may have noticed at this point, many of the game's main cast features some big, assets, no, explicit, content that adds to their personalities, right? Or in other words, the game has a lot of fan service going on, both in the character designs and cut-ins during battle, and both the dialogue and the characters do little to hide that fact. Actually, the game embraces it and makes it the butt of many jokes. In fact, the story in the game is not really that anything special or all that interesting, but the brilliant and often hilarious writing delivers a lot of charm, showing the game doesn't take itself very seriously at all, making the game and its plot much more enjoyable. No, the story and characters aren't the real draw of the game. Like the other games of the Super Robot Taisen series, Super Robot Taisen OG Saga's true enjoyment lies in its gameplay. The core gameplay of OG Saga should be immediately familiar to anyone who has played any other JRPG. You wander around an overworld, explore dungeons, solve minor puzzles, and encounter plenty of random battles. But once a battle commences, you begin to see what separates Super Robot Taisen OG Saga apart from every other RPG on the DS: its amazing combat system. To anyone who has seen or played Project Cross Zone or Namco Cross Capcom, this game's combat system will appear incredibly similar. The entire concept of this battle system is that each character in your party, which goes up to 3, takes individual turns attacking enemies. While attacking an enemy, you must select one of your character's attacks. Your attacks are preset combos within themselves. So each attack hits your target a specific amount of times. It's up to you, the player, to select another attack in order to keep the enemy in the air and your combo rising. Yes, each successful hit against the enemy increases your combo, and the bigger your combo is, the more damage you will do. And the game limits each character to a certain amount of attacks per turn, forcing you to make the most of your turns. This battle system requires precise timing and an understanding of how long each attack lasts. It gets even more in depth from partner attacks and super attacks that may or may not involve robots. Overall, the combat is a lot of fun, and it's easy to see this is where most of Monolith Soft's efforts went to, as both the gameplay and the graphics are much better in combat sections than what is seen in the rest of the game. As fun as the battle system is, I found it to be on the easy side, as the game does shower you with healing items that you will find breaking rocks and other obstacles in the game's various dungeons. That isn't to say that combat is too easy or that there isn't any learning curve, as it will take some time to adjust to. This battle system requires a different approach than a Final Fantasy or Tales game, and you may have noticed that most of the fights are spent on the player's turn, which enforces the idea that difficulty of battles depends on whether or not how badly you can damage your foes. I enjoy OG Saga's battle system. I find it rather refreshing, especially after playing so many other standard JRPG battle systems. If you have played and enjoyed Project Cross Zone, I'd highly recommend tracking down this game for the gameplay alone. Visually, the game is something of a mixed bag, as it has detailed full-body character portraits and incredibly well-animated sprites for the battle sequences, but the overworld and dungeon exploration graphics look like something of an early Super Nintendo game, rather than a Nintendo DS game. This disparity in graphics didn't really bother me much, but for some, they may experience graphical whiplash. Whereas the graphics as a whole are kinda mixed, that certainly cannot be said of the game's audio. The soundtrack is energetic and very upbeat, exactly what I'd expect from a Super Robot Taisen game, spin-off or not. The game also features various Japanese voice clips during and after battles, which are surprisingly high quality samples considering this is a DS game, so as per usual the series audio is another knockout of the park, although I can't say I enjoyed the soundtrack as much as the ones present in the previous 2 games of the series. Super Robot Taisen OG Saga is a very interesting portable RPG that I'd highly recommend to anyone looking for something out of the norm to play on their DS. Again, if you enjoyed Project Cross Zone, you will love this game. For anyone looking for a serious or hardcore role-playing game, you won't find it here. To play and enjoy this game, you will be required to have a lax attitude, much like the game itself has. Having recommended the game, I cannot in a clean conscience recommend picking it up for the outrageous prices this title demands online. eBay prices fluctuate from $50 for the cartridge alone. Box copies range from anywhere to $80 to well over $100 depending on the condition of the box, or whether or not it contains the official soundtrack disc the game came with at launch. Super Robot Taisen OG Saga had a very limited release, so there aren't many copies lying around, but if you come across this game in the wild for a reasonable price, grab it. Well, that about wraps up my Super Robot Taisen Retrospective. I hope you all enjoyed this mini retrospective series. Stick around for February as I'll be personally challenging myself to have a video released each week for the month of love. My videos for February won't be related to any retrospective, rather I'll be posting reviews, top games list, and show other types of videos celebrating the games I love. This has been Darren of the Gaming Pilgrimage. Till February.